and welcome back to GFF and Friends, the podcast for doers.
Okay.
Because doers get things done.
We're making it happen.
We are. Whoa. And Ruby just exploded upstairs.
She's making things happen too. She's a doer.
You probably can't hear it on the pod, but
She's
Ruby
like,
is
I'm a doer too. Listen.
barking her head up. She's been barky today.
Yeah, she's been active.
Yeah. She got to protect the neighborhood.
Well, I mean, like just earlier when she was looking out the window, she saw one dog going one way and then three going the other.
Those hackles were up.
Like, I understand. Like, you're kind of annoyed when you just think there's one problem and then you realize there's four.
She was pissed.
Big problem.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the pod. I'm your host, Gay Fat Friend, a.k.a. Todd. And joining me, as always, is Coke Zero's number one spokesmodel, my teeny tiny, adorable husband, Rob.
Hello.
Everyone says that they subliminally want to drink a lot of Coke Zero when they watch this on YouTube.
They just like how I drink them, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I make them look delicious.
You're an influencer now. Look at you.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Teeny tiny influencer.
I don't like the news that had their name attached recently. I'm bitter that I'm like.
Well, that was
hooked.
Diet Coke. Don't bring that evil.
Oh, was
into
it?
our
Okay,
house.
good.
That was just Diet Coke.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a specific.
No, because only winners drink Coke Zero. All right.
All right.
So we're not getting near that evilness.
Okay.
You're good. You're good.
We're good now.
You could be a Coke Zero
Are
influencer.
we?
Yeah, because there's zero weirdos that drink that soda.
Let's go with that. That's the new tagline.
No one weird has ever drank Coke Zero.
Right?
That's not possible. Mm-hmm. How's your week been?
It's been busy. We've been doing.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff. That's why
it's been
kind of titled the episode for doers.
Yeah, it's been. We've been up to stuff.
Yeah, we went to Costco, which is one of my favorite outings ever. We were gonna go last week. We always go on Fridays because that just seems to be like the best day to go to Costco.
You know, we've been busy, so we haven't been able to like usual. And
well, also we did the economic boycott.
Oh yeah,
and so or blackout, and so we got our. You know, if you're not familiars, when you join Costco, they have a cashback program, which more than pays for the membership of Costco if you go to Costco regularly.
Well, this is not the actual Costco one. The last
that's
time
what I'm saying. There's two different ones.
Yeah, there's two rewards if you're doing it right.
Yeah. So, but Costco does a ton of different cashback rewards that more than pay for your membership. And especially if you go a lot like we do, you know, we're I would say at least every 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So we had one of our yearly, you know, giant Costco rebate checks that was just burning a hole in our pocket.
Yeah.
And we, like I said, we were going to go last Friday, but it was the economic blackout. So we didn't do anything. And we were good because we did the social media add-on to the blackout. If you wanted to upgrade, you could also not post on social media. And we didn't do any of that. So it was kind of nice. It was doable. We did get hungry and a little scared at one point because we were like, oh no, we didn't buy the right food. Right?
Because like we had food, but it wasn't the food we wanted that day.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things of like, we should have made more arrangements so we at least had more plans available to us. But,
well, and there was an exception clause in the blackout that you could shop local and you had to pay cash. But we didn't have any cash.
No, I had some cash, but honestly, it was also one of the things of like, you know what? We shouldn't have to do half measures. It's one day. Mm-hmm. One day we can do this.
Right.
It's not that hard.
Have you seen any numbers from that?
No.
Right, me neither.
But I mean, like, I don't know. It's going to be one of those things of like, unfortunately, I hate to say it, like, no matter what, people are often conclusion shopping. They're going to assign any sort of blip in the numbers to hopefully their impact of that day. Because like now, you know, since then there's also been talk of, you know, other places have a boycott starting and everyone's like, did we ever stop? Mm-hmm. You know, based on some of them. And it's like, yeah.
The Target one?
Yeah. Well, and especially like, even like, you know, for Target being part of the blackout, it's like, well, that was happening anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so there's just, you know, there's a lot of stuff where it's like, well, there's a lot of things going on. And for as much as we are chronically online, there's a ton of shit going on that we don't know about.
Yeah. The thing about the Target boycott is it was just extended for 40 days, but like our thing, like my thing especially, right? Like we weren't shopping at Target anyway. Also, I've realized now that we've moved quite far from Targets that it's very easy to stop shopping at Target, especially when you remove the convenience of it.
Well, and frankly, not to, you know, pile on of just the whole thing of like, oh yeah, if you lock everything up behind cages, no one wants to buy anything.
Correct.
There's that. But also, and this is a situation, and you know, it's one of those where I often get on my soapbox about this self-fulfilling prophecy of the dwindling presence of physical media. It's like, yeah, well, a lot of people just stop buying it. Target's not selling it. Like that was one of the few places where people were buying it.
Yeah.
And then when they stop stocking it and they make you do it through their mobile app or website only, No one's buying it. Then they're like, well, if no one's buying it, we're not going to stock it at all. Well, you hid it from people.
Yeah, you made it so hard to buy from you.
Yeah, like
I feel like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. Like, I have money. I want to give it to you.
I'm looking for this shit, and you made it hard for me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's no surprise that no one's buying physical media, and then you just keep phasing it out. So, like, the impulse purchase thing from me is gone.
Yeah.
Like, the biggest impulse purchase I've had at Target recently was, like, Lunar New Year themed Pocky that we bought, like, in December? Or so, it was, like, so long ago, like, last month.
You never ate it.
And I didn't even eat it. But, yeah, it's one of those things of just, like, I don't know. I mean, like, the impulse purchases at Target used to be, like, a video game here, a movie there.
Right.
Like, just, I was kind of terrible. And now it's like, well, no.
And they make it too hard to shop.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, yes, we're boycotting Target, but it's also not hard. We're just not shopping there. It's not hard for us to do.
It is one of those, yeah, it seemed like such a life required kind of thing. And it's like, oh no, it's actually been really easy.
There hasn't been a thing that only Target sells that I need since, like, before Christmas.
Yeah, since the Tortured Poets,
the
Black
Taylor
Friday
Swift stuff.
So,
and even then, we didn't have to get
Pardon me as I burp.
You know, like, if that came out now, I could continue to boycott Target and just get the book from a reseller or, like, you know, steal it like you should be doing with your books. Books should be stolen. That's what they're made for.
We do not condone this behavior. I will be the lower third.
Well, speaking of this behavior, I think it's very funny. And I'm happy that more people are discovering Costco. And Costco is such a good company. And everybody's switching over to Costco and leaving Target behind. But people are starting to bring Target energy to Costco. We didn't really notice it too much. I did see it. I mean, though.
You said that, but, like, it's one of those where I'm trying to not gatekeep or be, like,
no,
snooty about shit.
Yeah, no, but I'm just trying to make a joke on a podcast that's supposed to be a comedy podcast.
Well, but, like, often you talk about shit as if it's really happening. Or
no, but it is. Like, people are bringing. So the joke I was going to make that I've seen online is that people are bringing Target energy to Costco, and you can see it. You can tell that there's a lot of new faces there, a lot of new people that have never shopped at Costco before, don't really know traffic patterns and how to operate, how to maneuver their cart around the store. There's a lot of cart wandering, I would say.
I feel like we had that anyway, just given that we are a city full of a lot of international recent transplants.
Yes.
Like, because it's funny, because we have noticed that, you know, there's a disproportionate amount of student driver, please be patient placards on cars. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to people, and they were all basically confirming. It's like, yeah, it's actually mostly because there's a lot of new adult drivers that are, like, new to the country who are just learning how to drive for the first time. And I can see, actually, that might be a reason why a lot of traffic patterns at our Costco are so jacked up.
Yes.
That would actually explain a lot.
It does. But for the most part, Costco is still a dream. We have yet to ever really encounter anything being sold out at Costco, which is nice.
Yeah.
Like, we've never, like, gone to Costco expecting something and it's sold out. Discontinued. We've experienced discontinued.
Well, yeah, I mean, you experience the normal fluctuation of what comes and goes at a warehouse store. Yeah. Like, that's just one of those things of, like, hey, they stopped carrying that item entirely. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, you know, or it was like, oh, they got one pallet of it and it was great while it was here, never coming back.
I feel like the only major thing right now is eggs, but we never really bought eggs at Costco anyway. We've done it a couple times, but it's so much eggs, right? And we don't eat enough eggs to do that.
I feel it's yeah, for the most part.
I don't own a gun, let alone many, to necessitate a rack.
What would I do with a gun rack? No, I feel like in general, whenever there's been, like, a crazy shortage, we aren't enough of a mega consumer of it for it to be an impact yet. So we're lucky on that. Like, I'm not going to say, like, oh yeah, let's just be confident until it does hit the whatever we consume at a certain level. Yeah. But it is a thing where, you know, at least it is. We've been lucky enough to kind of just, like, yeah, we feel the financial annoyance of it, but, like, it's not, you know. It's not like little Timmy's insulin.
Barring another pandemic / global catastrophe, I don't think we'll have to experience, like, toilet paper being sold out again, like it was once upon a time. I feel like that was the last time you and I personally had to deal with something being sold out from from Costco.
Yeah,
it's like they still don't have any paper products.
Yeah, that was just such a dumb time to be alive.
Right, but I think it taught us a lot about, like, I don't want to say panic buy, but it taught us how to, like, ration our things. It taught us how to buy smart. I feel like we learned how to grocery shop with a purpose from the pandemic.
Yeah, unfortunately, it also, like, I think the biggest thing it kind of taught us to a degree also is how to have to navigate the variable of just other people who are not rational.
Oh, correct.
Like that's actually one of the biggest problems. It's not so much like you're doing the right thing. It's how to navigate 80% of people doing the wrong thing.
Well, and that's my shopping pet peeve in every kind of store known to man is people that just don't know how to shop in those stores. I feel like every week when I go to the grocery store, there's always one person, it feels like they've never been inside a grocery store before. And they're always in the way and they don't know what they're doing. They ask a ton of questions and hold up the line.
Oh, it's like those sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I could go on all day about shopping.
Well, it's like the people whose, overhead bag is, 12 rows behind them, and they decide to get up because it would be their time to exit the plane, but instead of waiting for people to clear out, they're going to stand and try to work their way back through a solid
Dummies.
row of people just because, well, like it was their time to move, I guess. So now it's suddenly 12 rows worth of people's problem. It's like,
is it your first day?
Yeah, it's just that thing of like, is this your first time on a plane or just your first time interacting with people? Do you not recognize that like you can't phase through them? Like the fuck? Yeah, so I totally get it. It's one of those things of just like,
I feel like there's like almost like a genetic brain disorder. Is it a lack of empathy? I don't know. It's something where like you don't care about anyone around you and you also don't realize that you're affecting other people around you. Like there's people that will do that with their suitcase and be like, I'm going to get it. And it's like you are throwing everyone's day off. And it doesn't even cross their mind that they're inconveniencing people.
Well, it's certainly a lack of consideration for others, but I think it's a lack of awareness of what kind of space you take up.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I feel like you and I are at least both kind of uniquely aware of what space we take up.
Yeah, in both directions.
Yeah, like because if anything, you're concerned about taking up too much space. And if anything, I probably underestimate how much space I take up, but I also know that most people see me as I'm zipping around them and it's too late. Mm-hmm. Like that's the thing of like, if I need to get around you, I will. I might surprise you and it might be unpleasant in just that like, oh God, what? Just like, I'm not going to touch you or anything, but you're going to see me kind of fly by you and it's going to be weird.
Well, we call it Disneyland walking.
Yeah, like I can weave through a crowd very effectively if I need to. Yeah. For the most part, I usually don't. But like recently I was, traveling alone and just getting off a jetway. Please, if you're a group of two, walk in front of each other. You don't have to walk. You don't have to walk side by side with your rolling bags.
Anywhere, sidewalks, grocery store aisles.
Like seriously,
stop walking next to people.
If you are in a busy place, you don't have to hold hands. You don't have to look in each other's eyes while you walk. Like this is a place of business. Just move, please move.
Realize that you are side to side blocking the entire sidewalk.
Yeah,
and just get out of the way.
Seriously,
but it helps with us because my long legs. I apparently walk fast. And you are always a little bit behind me.
Yeah, I'm always mighty dogging behind you. But yeah, it's the thing of just, especially when I'm alone, I don't realize how much because I always think of myself as not that quick of a navigator through things because of my little legs. But it is a thing where I kind of realize just how unbelievably unhurried people are in other places.
Well, also you have those silent, fast ninja feet.
That is true, I guess.
You could sneak up on anything. I was trying to think of what's something that
I could sneak up on a thing that is hard to sneak up on.
Yeah, a motion detector. I don't know. Sure, yeah, it's in there. But you scare me all the time. Is what I'm trying to say.
I don't mean to.
All of a sudden, you're just in a room and you scare me, and I'm like, "Well, I didn't even hear nary a footstep."
Which seriously, I just think it's really more of a statement that you're just afraid to be around me.
I'm afraid of you, but I'm not afraid to be around
here?
you. There's a difference.
I thought you were at least a floor away.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't have proof that you're not a ghost.
Okay.
So sometimes when you enter a room, you scare me.
I mean, you also haven't seen me and Batman in the same room at the same time. But
exactly. Batman could be little.
And a ghost.
Right?
Who knows?
But where are the billions, Bruce Wayne?
It's all part of my clever...
this is all a ruse?
This is all like the alter ego that no one expects. No one expects
so you're
just
like a method alter ego.
That guy who's working all the time to really be a crime fighter.
Well, I just watched a show on Apple Plus where it was all about spies and stuff. And one spy was so in it that he was a bartender. The entire 10 episodes of the show fully... Well, I'm not saying the show.
Oh, okay.
But this bartender... was bartending the whole time, and then all of a sudden at the end he's an inside man, and I'm like, that guy had a full-on 8-hour-a-day bartending shift. That is
being undercover is two undercover. Jobs.
Yeah, I mean that is a commitment to the job.
Yeah, that's why I don't do that.
Oh, so you're not Batman?
I mean,
Or are you?
Now
oh,
you're
God.
really guessing.
It's too confusing.
Right?
I don't even know.
I'm going to spin this top here and walk away.
Anyway, back to shopping. We did get some delights. I mean, obviously, we stocked up on our stock ups, but I got a new GoPro camera, which I'm excited to start doing like time lapse of my Lego builds.
Better than what he has been doing, which has been a very strange construction of cramming my old iPad in a box of a board game. It's been a thing.
Yeah, so I take the Settlers of Catan board game because it's a very luxe box. It's very thick cardboard. And then I slide the iPad into the side of it, and then it makes like a tripod. And then I can set that on my desk and do time-lapse with my Legos, but I can't get enough distance. And so the time-lapse ends up just being me and a little bit of Lego in front of me.
Well, I mean, it's better than just like bing, bong, bonk, like done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else you had, you know.
But I was also considering doing the GoPro today to film this for YouTube, but I want to experiment with it first. Like I haven't even like tried video yet and setting it up. And I think GoPros naturally have a little bit of a fisheye lens, don't they? Isn't it like a
You can
little
change
bit?
you can change the lens.
Aperture? No.
Like you can change you can change that.
Yeah, the lens,
The
millimeter,
angle, yeah, like you can
whatever.
go wide angle. I mean, like I want to say they're always going to be semi-wide angle, but like it's like wide, or widest.
Niner.
But like,
Did I catch a niner
in there? But yeah, I think it goes like wide, or widest at least. You know, but also I'm basing all of my GoPro knowledge from like the Model 1 and 2.
Yeah, which reminds me of the story I wanted to tell. So we're at Costco, and we've already kind of discussed back and forth getting the GoPro bundle that Costco offers. That's the other thing. If you need to buy electronics, check Costco first because it's almost always a bundle and cheaper. So you're getting like the tripod, the speaker, the microphone, like whatever your bundle should come with.
They usually come with some accessories.
If you're buying a TV, you might get a sound bar. Like, yeah, definitely check Costco first. Anyway, we had already decided we're getting the GoPro bundle. And then this little old man that works at Costco came up and just started chatting with us. And he's like, oh, you getting the GoPro? And we were like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, I have about 7 of them myself. And I was like, good. And so we started chatting with him. And I was like, I wanted to be like, sir, why you're clearly 75. Why do you own 7 GoPros? And he does time lapses of, quote, mostly traffic.
Yeah, that was weird. Well, but it's funny because like when he first said he had 7 of them, nothing seemed weird to me at all. And like literally it's just because my past work, like, excuse me while I burp again.
Gaseous.
Coke Zero,
it's
man.
The Coke Zero.
And it's a fresh one.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I've worked in video production for a long time, and like GoPros were kind of fresh and new when I started. And so one of the things that we did at like the bleeding edge of the beginning of it was we 3D printed one of those things that holds 6 GoPros, one in each direction, so you can make 360 footage by seaming it all together.
Yeah.
And so, but like, you know, if you said you have 7 GoPros, I was like, oh yes, you have 7 plus like one other, or 6 for the 360 plus one other. Of course, now like you can do 360 with like 2 cameras and that's it. Yeah, it's like
magic.
I'm literally bringing in like decade old information into this, but yeah, it's funny because we said that I thought nothing of it, so I was like, oh yeah, he has a 360 rig.
But yeah, it was just, I was like, oh, he for sure has like kidnapped people in his basement in like pig pen stalls that he keeps a camera on.
He has
all
cells.
day long. Yeah. I was like, why does a very old man need, but he also was wearing like a very specific fancy cologne that like I've only smelled, like it was fancy. It wasn't like Old Spice, you know? And I was like, what's your cologne? And he said the name, I forgot it. But I was like, you're wearing fancy cologne and you have 7 GoPros and you're working at Costco. Something's up here. Something's up here.
Costco pays well.
And mostly traffic. We know what kind of traffic.
Right.
Human.
Seriously,
Human
it
traffic.
was a little on the nose.
Yeah. But, and then speaking of soundbars, we also got a new soundbar / subwoofer package for upstairs.
Because our old one was just being a little...
Has anybody else experienced this? Our subwoofer it would pick up like the lowest level of like vibration and it would just kind of like hum. It wasn't even a hum.
It was like just a borderline inaudible low frequency pitch where it was just kind of like, it was almost like a flap of just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and it was almost brown noise to where it like made me sick.
Well, I mean, it's like, you know what, I mean, Silence of the Lambs for the first, third of it, whatever, uses a nearly inaudible bass hum that's meant to make people uncomfortable.
It's like a flutter.
Yeah, and so it was this thing where like, and I think I'm pretty positive the issue was that like the frequency at which the sub was kicking on was set too high, and so it was kept trying to borrow frequency it shouldn't. So like even if everything was super quiet, it was just kind of like, yeah. But like The issue is, though, that this was like a pretty low-end sound bar and subwoofer combo where like literally the surround channels died within a couple of months of us having it. And then like just the whole user experience is very, very, very limited. It's not like when you have speakers connected to a receiver where you can like change the changeover frequency and actually like really balance shit. This thing is very much a kind of plug and play. What you see is what you get.
Well, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right now because we moved it downstairs into the bedroom. Yeah. Now the bedroom TV has a woofie and a sound bar. And it's been quite nice because this is where I do my Legos, on this very desk. And yeah, I watched that Apple TV show with the subwoofer and I was like, whoa, it's like a movie theater down here now. It's quite luxurious.
Yeah.
Look at us updating our audio experiences in the home.
Well, yeah, because it was annoying.
I just hope it doesn't rattle my Legos off the wall here.
It's like, it was annoying. We were having to like turn the subwoofer on and off specifically for what we were watching upstairs. Yeah. And yeah, it was just like, that's annoying. And so even though we had it on like voice activation through our Echoes, it was like, no. Like, this is not going to work.
Well, and one of the funniest things is, so I was sitting here watching my show, and the subwoofer is kind of far away from this TV. Like, this TV is right here. I'm practically touching it. But the subwoofer is on the other side of a shelf. And the whole time I'm like, how did he's so little, he can't reach anything. How did he get that subwoofer behind that shelf?
Because, yeah, this shelf, like, by the way, is 6 foot something tall and long.
Yeah.
It's
square.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's gigantic. And I was like, he would have had to pull everything off the shelf. Like, I'm trying to do the math and figure out just like...
And these are the heaviest shelves in our home.
How did he get that cord behind the shelf? And then when I just randomly brought it up to him, I was like, hey, by the way, how did you do that? And he was like, it's wireless, dummy.
The funny thing was the way he worded the question also, he was like, how did you plug in the subwoofer? I was like, into that.
To the electric?
And I pointed at the electric outlet. I was like, there? And he was like, but how did you connect? How'd you connect it to the bar? And I was like, it's wireless. Like, but it's funny because when it was upstairs, it literally, the subwoofer was next to him, not connected wired to the soundbar. It was literally across the room the whole time, but he never put that together.
Just for some reason forgot that. But as soon as he told me that it was wireless, it was like when like an amnesia patient in a movie gets all of their memories back. It just like flooded back into my brain. I was like, oh yeah, it's all Bluetoothy wirelessy stuff. Nice. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, seriously, I wasted a lot of brain cells on trying to figure out how this tiny man got behind this shelf and got a cord that simply does not exist.
Yeah.
I made it all up in my head.
Or I'm Batman.
Yeah. And then we had to do a thing which felt very Christmas Story, very like leg lamp adjacent. We had to figure out, we use a lot of smart plugs in this house so we can talk to our Echo and be like, Echo, turn on this lamp. It really does change your life. I highly recommend smart plugs if you haven't gotten them yet. But they're all different shapes. They're all different sizes. They all fit into a power strip very differently. Some of them take up a lot of real estate.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of like old plugs, and since then, a lot of them have gotten much more low profile, smaller.
Yeah.
But like the originals are like plug and a half.
I'm a big fan of the new cube style like we have out here and upstairs where like there's 4 plugs on top, 1 on each side. Like you can really like maneuver plugs now. Mm-hmm. But these are just like old-timey office power strips. And Rob's like, okay, I had to plug this into that and these into those. I had to switch these. We lost this one, so you have to start turning this lamp on by hand again.
But this one turns on automatically when this set of string lights comes on also. And he's like, I don't want that. And I'm like, well, we all got to make compromises, babe.
And it was too much choreography. So
I just left so he could figure it out, the power. I put the shit where it goes. I connect it to the sources. You make sure it's got the juice and not going to burn this house down.
So I re-choreographed all the plugs and we got it to work. We made it where everything fits. That's what she said.
I mean, most people also don't have like, a video production light setup, in this room.
So as of now in the video, you can see there's a lamp behind me. That's on a smart plug. I can talk to that lamp. Then hanging over it, which I just realized you can really never see. I'm almost fully blocking it, but there is a string of Christmas lights wrapped around this. Here, let me just scoot over a little bit.
Maybe you can see it reflected in the TV.
There's Christmas lights.
You can see it reflected in the TV.
There's Christmas lights on there. Oh, can you? Oh, yeah. They're like right there. Anyway, those lights are on a smart plug. And then the other lamps, there's more Christmas lights. I really love a Christmas twinkle light. P.S. Like as an interior design
year round
technique. I love them. Sometimes you just need that twinkly joy. But yeah, so those lights are on a smart plug. That lamp is on a smart plug. We love a smart plug in this house.
Brother, we like not getting up.
Yeah.
And we like not having the discussion of who's going to get up. That was actually a big problem because this man loves a fan. And he loves, like, there's a lot of things
I
where...
love my fans. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I love you so much.
Also, like, there was a situation in our old apartment in LA where there was a corner lamp that I despised. And he always kept turning it on, and then he'd sit down and refuse to get up to turn it off. And it drove me nuts.
Wait, which lamp?
That was the corner lamp. And so,
just the one that I could reach? I would.
No, then
I didn't have to get up to turn it off.
Eventually, you had to get up to get, like, we moved it just, I think, into the corner around a table or something.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, then we bought a Radio Shack button remote that we kept on a speaker, so when you walked in, at least you could turn on that lamp.
Which those are great too. If you don't want to get an Amazon Echo device, to talk to,
you can get a dumb
you
smart
get remote
plug.
control smart plugs.
Yeah,
and I got them from my parents because my parents would never get an Echo, but I got them from my parents. My mom loves them now.
Yeah, no, it's super nice because like in that apartment, like no light switch worked.
There were no light switches.
And so you walked into just a dark house, and it was kind of weird. So having just a button you could press and turn on a lamp was great. And then though getting voice activation was like the game changer because we got our first Echo as like a Christmas gift from my boss. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to have her do aside from telling me how many cups are in a quart, like, or whatever, just like the little conversions. That's all I'm going to get out of her. And then it was like, well, if you buy the smart plugs, she can start doing those. And it was like changed our life.
We also got the smart color changing bulbs because we love a colorscape of a lighting system when we're watching a movie. So we can change all of our lamps in our living room to like blue to watch a movie. And it's an experience.
Yeah. Magenta for Drag Race.
Yeah, it's luxurious.
Although it's funny because like colors was like step 2. Step 1 was just on or off, like, which was a big moment for us because like we literally started doing like lighting as more like that's when we really figured out like the 3 bulb Edison setup that we had just like hanging over a speaker just as a sort of decorative lighting element because no one
we've gone on a lot of interior illumination journeys.
But it's funny, like, but yeah, no one had to get up to touch the light, so it was really easy to sort of just like, yeah, sure, we can have that.
Both of our bedside lamps are on their own plugs.
Yeah,
we can talk to this whole house.
I don't touch lights unless it's like the bathroom or the kitchen.
Yeah, which it's so funny because when we first moved to Seattle, we lived in an apartment for a hot second, and it had motion sensor lights on the bathroom. So you walk into the bathroom, the lights turn on, and then they're on like a timer, and they'll turn themselves off.
It's kind of nice, but also kind of really annoying at times.
But,
like, yeah, there were times where it got really irritating.
It would turn off when you were in the shower because it couldn't see you, and so it was like no movement here, and I'm like, I'm in the dark now.
Or if you're in the bath and you have like ambient lighting or whatever, and then you just move a little bit, boom, fluorescents are on.
There was no way to turn off the motion sensor, which was annoying.
You basically had to like put a stack of books in front of it if you wanted to take a bath.
But anyway, we were there for so fast, but our bodies, the muscles in our bodies memorized that action of walking into a bathroom to turn on the lights with your movement that like we still think to this day in an entirely different home, different building, that our bathroom has motion lights.
Yeah, especially just for like a quick number one. You just like want to run in and just like you step in, you're like, oh, this will be really fast but like you take 3 steps in, you're like, hold on, turn on the light. It didn't do that for me again. Oops. But like, yeah, it's amazing. Just a couple of months completely changed us in a way of like, that is a convenience I've never expected. I didn't even really appreciate it fully when it was happening. And now I'm ruined forever. Well,
and so our bathroom down here, which is like a Pittsburgh toilet, it's just a basement toilet in a room. But the light is connected to the bathroom fan, and it's the loudest bathroom fan known to man, and it's right next to our bedroom. So like if I want to get up to go pee at 3 a.m., I'm not turning on that light because
the turbine.
The bathroom fan is it literally sounds like a meat grinder. And so I got a outdoor motion sensor light for like patios, the kind you just put on the outside of your house. It is so freaking bright, but the only problem is like you go in to go pee, it only stays on unless you're like constantly moving. It only stays on for 5 seconds. So like I'll go in, it'll turn on this bright ass patio light, which is also on the back of the toilet. It's not on the ceiling. Like there was no way to mount it properly.
So you're kind of staring right at it.
Yeah. But like I just need a little bit of light to pee. I don't need the full light. But like you go in, so I'm used to that motion light, but luckily like it's not as bad as it was in our old apartment where I'm just like, oh, full bathroom of light with my motion.
Yeah.
That's gone.
And it's funny because I've gotten so used to kind of working around stuff like that where like if I like often if I have to go in the middle of the night, I will have my night mask on, and like I can make it so I can just kind of see a sliver out through the bottom, and I can work with that, and then I can stand perfectly still in the bathroom for that light to turn back off, and I can just work off sound. Like at that point, as long as I start okay, we can finish fine. Yeah. And then it's a matter of just like, well, put that back down and kind of like feel your way back out.
Also, I realized like our bedroom, again, we film in our bedroom. Our bedroom has so many uncontrollable light sources. First of all, we have a street light outside of our bedroom that is the brightest light known to man, and it just fully illuminates our bedroom all night long, which I love. I don't like total darkness. I can't do it.
I don't like it, but at least
scares me.
It doesn't faze me.
Excuse me. But then like our smoke detector has a green light that flashes every 10 seconds for some reason. And it is the brightest, tiniest little green bulb that flashes. And you're like, what the hell? And then our light next to the door here.
The dimmer,
when it's on, has the brightest, or when it's off.
When it's off. That's the weird thing. When it's off.
Has the brightest, tiniest little blue dot light literally lights up the entire bedroom.
It is the most vivid, like kind of like shocking
LED
blue and
bright blue light.
And seriously, and it does like just illuminate everything.
And we realize that if you leave the light on but turn the dimmer all the way down, then the blue light does not turn on. So it's supposed to be like, I think, like a nightlight feature, but it's awful.
If it's on at 0% instead of just off, at least that damn blue light is off.
And then my power strip next to the bed has a bright ass blue light that just like projects onto the ceiling. And then this light, the ring light that we used to film with, has a bright blue light on its plug. I'm like, there is so much just unusable light. Like you can't really like see by it, but it's enough to annoy you when you're trying to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's just bright ass bedroom.
Yeah.
But I like it because, afraid of the dark, 44 years old.
Yeah. I miss my blackout curtains. But that's why I have a night mask.
Yeah. We also had a really good Lego experience recently. Well, mine was a little accidental. So like I got my March Lego hauls, and a thing on the Lego website is if it's sold out, but it's not discontinued, that means they're going to restock. You can pre-order, you can back order it, and it won't charge your card till it ships. And so I was like, okay, I don't want to spend this on a Lego set right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to back order it. So when it comes back, they said it wasn't supposed to restock until May. So I was like, that's perfect. That's when I'll be ready to build this lighthouse. And then it shipped almost instantly.
Well, it's funny. I mean, because like I feel like if you'd asked me, not that I'm an expert.
Well, you're the king of pre-orders. And
that's the thing. It's like you may construct a lot of Lego. However, I have probably bought, I'm guessing, 4 times as much Lego off their website as you ever have.
Yeah.
Like, and so it is a thing where I have bought many a back-ordered set, and they have always beaten expectation of when they're going to ship. Yeah. Always. Like, they are covering their ass usually with those dates. And like, who knows, maybe for some sets they don't meet them. But typically they usually surpass expectation.
Well, and the clues were always there, detective, because it said expected ship date of May, not guaranteed.
Yeah.
So I will be getting a brand new, very expensive Lego lighthouse this week.
That at least does give them forgiveness if they don't ship it until like October.
Yeah.
That was expected in May. We did our best. Well, yeah. And then it's funny because he told me that, like, he was like, don't be mad. And I was like, why would I be mad? You're going to get it anyway. It doesn't matter if it comes now or later. Yeah. Just don't construct it now and have to buy another replacement when you were going to do it.
Yeah.
Because
that's the thing too, is building Lego is like a little vacation for me. And so I have 7 backlog like sets to build. I could build them all in a week, but that's like, I don't know. It's like eating all your favorite candy right away instead of like stretching it out. Enjoy it. Let it happen, Yeah. And so, I was like that. I probably will need a new set by May. May will be perfect. That's when I'll get my lighthouse. And then they're like, it'll be there on Tuesday. Great.
Well, and it's funny because like it was one of those where, I can make it feel a little bit better. So you're not alone here. Because he was like, I feel bad. I was like, don't. Like, doesn't really matter. And then on top of that, like I had just gotten an email or whatever saying like, hey, for March 10th, Mario Day, all of these sets you get double points for, and you get a free gift with purchase, which was adorable because it was Toad, and I want that. So I was like, well, there is a Mario set I want. So at least from there, it was like, by spending more money, At least he wasn't the only problem.
But we get double points.
Yeah, and so now eventually I will be building the Mighty Bowser. Just because ever since the video reveal,
which we've always wanted.
It's been so damn cute, and I've been really excited about it, but it's one of those of like, I don't know where I'll put it, and I still don't know, but it's fine.
And we have both lived with discontinued regret before, and we know how like much it hurts. It's like, you know what? I don't want to live with sold out regret and discontinued regret. If we know we want something, if we're going to get something, let's just get it.
At least like no regrets on the Simpsons stuff. That was the thing of like the second it got announced, I was like, I'm buying it.
Oh,
period.
For sure.
The end.
That was
like,
pre-ordered.
Yeah, those were both like the day of.
Yeah.
Like,
and
easy.
they're supposed to be coming out, I think, with Krusty Burger or the school.
I think it's the
school.
Is it the school? Because I feel
Maybe.
like it's like the school, Moe's, and
But they're supposed to come out with new Simpsons sets this year. We will be getting.
There's
them.
a handful of like next locations that make sense.
Yeah.
So,
but man, I love Lego. It's just such a treat and a joy. And it's funny, I was talking to my mom. So my whole life, my mom and her mom, my grandma, had doll houses and were like obsessed with miniatures and loved like building little models and miniatures and doll houses and stuff. And I was always like, I don't get it. And now as an adult, I've been buying Lego and doing these little Lego scenes. And I'm currently working on my biggest build to date, which is called Tudor Corner, which is like a modular building build. And it is a full on like dollhouse. I mean, there's rooms. I built a tiny vacuum. It has a toilet. Oh God, it's adorable. It's just so cute. And then I was talking to my mom and she's like, oh, you like dollhouses just like me. And I was like, oh my God, these are doll houses.
Well, it's funny because you didn't like. I feel like you didn't really hang out that much with me when I was building the Simpsons house. But yeah, the Simpsons house literally opens up like a doll house.
I rebuilt it after we moved.
Yeah, but it's fine. I mean, like it.
Just at the time, the Lego bug hadn't bitten me yet, I guess.
Yeah.
But now it's just like the colors.
Well,
the little minifigs. I'm obsessed.
Then if you're feeling it, then you should really get in the Quickie Mart and rebuild those shelves.
I did.
Oh, did you? I thought you just sort of like.
No, it's part of the ceiling. So like backstory, when we moved from LA to Seattle, our movers literally threw Rob's built Lego sets just in a box with like a wad of tissue paper. Like it was nothing. So of course they shattered when we moved up here.
Yeah.
And I put them back together as best as I could. But the Quickie Mart, I think, is going to have to be it's a total tear down. You know, we're going to have to start from the bones because
the outside looks great. The roof is fine. But I want to say inside, it's almost, the Quickie Mart is almost a bucket for Lego pieces at this point, in that it's like a good container with a lid, but if you open inside, it's just a bunch of loose stuff.
Yeah, but also the thing with Lego is like, obviously, it's a very particular path how to build it.
Yeah.
Like there's steps, you know? And so I would have to go back to the drawing board and rebuild all of the inside because there's stuff that just I can't get it to fit back together. Like with the ceiling, it's like structural.
There's very specific stuff.
God, we're nerds.
There's a
but
lot
I
of
love
shelving.
I love it. Find your joy.
Even if it feels like work at this point.
Yeah. But I love having a project. Also, we're in a video game right now, which
he doesn't mean that like literally.
This is all a simulation. Who are you? Who
Tron.
are you? She's hungry. No, what is that?
She's skinny, Amber, not deaf. Like what? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah. Who are you? Who are? It's a little
Just
game
like
we play.
Same little dippy look on her face.
But yeah, so we're currently playing a game together called Split Fiction, which is really fun. If you remember, was it during the pandemic? Was it 4 years ago? 5 years ago? There was a game called
before the pandemic. Actually,
there was a game called It Takes Two. And it's this cute little video game company where the first game is about divorce, but it's super cute. Like you play as like the husband and the wife, and you had just, long story short, you get like shrunk down to miniature, and you have to like navigate your house, and it's really cool. You play as like dolls, right?
Yeah. Well, just because telling stories as a couple is always like this. Sorry. The company's called Hazelight, and
I'll say Rob has the details.
They actually had a game before It Takes Two as well. It was called A Way Out, where you played as two men escaping prison, and I actually played that with a coworker, and we had a really great time. But it was a super short, like maybe 4 or 5 hour game. But it was very cool, and it was very much a test of like these sort of mandatory.
Well, we should go back and play that together.
It's like I still got it. But yeah, it's like a mandatory 2-player experience. And so yeah, they continued in that vein with It Takes Two, where you basically you start as your 2 adults, parents who are probably going to go through a divorce, and through the magic of your child, you end up becoming 2 dolls that she's made, and now your goal is to do whatever it takes to become humans again.
Yeah.
And the game was so cute and so funny and like really smart with its gameplay and stuff, especially for somebody who plays a ton of games and somebody who plays a handful of games. Like it was a good kind of.
It's a very forgiving ecosystem of like, if you die, you just respawn. You don't need extra lives. You don't have to do a lot of stuff from the beginning. You pretty much just respawn right where you died.
Generous checkpoints.
Yeah, generous. And like the characters are very sticky. Like if you have to jump from wall to wall, like you can just jump and you'll stick to the wall. You don't have to like navigate and maneuver stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the new one is called Split Fiction, and highly recommend. Watch a trailer if you want. I'm not going to describe it because I don't want to spoil it. But it's super
cute.
fun, and it's nice to like be in a game again like that because I love the collaboration aspect of it. Most of the game is played split screen per character, so you just sit on your side of the TV and you go through and like. Say your character has to pull a lever so the other character can get through a door, and then that character pulls a lever and you can get through a door. It's just fun. It's just like fun little puzzle games. It's a cute story so far. We're about 25% away in it, maybe 30% in it, and it's super fun, and it's fun to be in a game. I have what I like to call what do I like to call it? It's like project anxiety. Not even that. Like I have a stack of books I want to read, and a stack of movies that I want to watch, and a stack of video games that I want to play. And I have Lego to do, and I have plants to plant outside. And I have so many things I want to do because I love a project, but it's so hard to like pick which one I'm going to go into. And then I always just fall into nothing and scroll TikTok for hours.
It's just executive dysfunction.
Yeah. And so it's nice to
decision paralysis.
Yeah, it's decision paralysis. That's what it is. I can't decide what I want to do because there's so much stuff I want to do. And then all of a sudden, 3 hours later, I've been scrolling on TikTok.
Well, and I try my best, but I sound like a jerk when you're like, I really want to play, Tears of the Kingdom again. And then 2 hours into your TikTok scrolling, I literally say to you, how's that Tears of the Kingdom going? and then you're just like, and then you pick up your Switch and then you fall asleep.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things like, okay, well,
Yeah.
You're going to make your own mistakes.
I guess my favorite hobby is thinking about hobbies.
Or apparently worrying about them.
Yeah.
Worrying about doing them.
Yeah. I'm like, which hobby have I got to do today? I've got so much to do. And then I just go to Trader Joe's.
Well, it's funny. And at least I've been pretty good about like, no, I'm going to play my game. And then I sit down and I play my game. And then 10 minutes in, I'm like, I'm tired. And then I take a nap. I don't want to, but it just happens.
Before I
Same with reading.
assign homework for people to play this game, is there a way to play it alone or like with strangers on the internet?
No. However, the game is actually very, very, very cool in how it does work. So if you purchase it, I'm pretty sure on any platform. I don't really know about the PC situation, nor I don't think it's on Switch, but like let's just say console because that's the stuff I know. If you do buy it, it's I think $50, and other people, I believe, even on other platforms, so cross-platform, can download a free thing from the store, which is the full game. It is a like 90 gigabyte file, and it's going to be called like Split Fiction Friend Pass. It is a version of the game that you can play by an online invite from a friend who bought a copy of it, even if you don't own it. So, like, you can join a friend who paid for the game for free.
On like if you have an Xbox and they have a PlayStation.
I believe so. I believe there's cross-platform play.
What systems is it on?
I believe it's, I think PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S, Series X, and PC. It's from EA, so I don't know if it's on Steam or if it's just on via EA Play, but yeah, I believe it's on PC and basically all of the Gen 9 and Gen 8 platforms, except I'm not sure about Switch. But yeah, I believe there's cross-platform play and like yeah, the fact that like you only have to pay for the game once and it's not a thing where like you have to give somebody a code and you don't have the code anymore. If you like, let's say Todd lives in another city. I invite him to play. We have a good time, and then I want to invite another friend to play.
Yeah.
Next time I play, like, or later, I just be like, I'm sending an invite to that friend.
So you can give out that friend code a million times.
Yeah, as long as the person that owns the game is playing it, you send out the beacon to a friend of yours. They are now granted access to the game.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. I believe that's how that works. I haven't actually looked into it, obviously, because I'm playing locally with you, which is the really great kind of rewarding experience of it. But yeah, like it's one of those where it's not kind of taking advantage of consumers, and I think It Takes Two even had a similar friend pass, but it wasn't cross-platform at the time. But that wasn't really a standard feature yet.
Well, that's your homework assignment for the week: is to check out It Takes Two or Split Fiction, and find a buddy. You know what? If you are a super gamer and you love gaming and you're really desperate, maybe Rob and I will join you if you need somebody to play.
They're good times.
So, yeah, check out Split Fiction. It's super fun, and it's really easy.
And seriously, It Takes Two is super cute, and just, even the fact that you said like this game requires collaboration. It takes all of me to not go into the Book of Love voice from It Takes Two.
Collaboration. By the way, does it have voice capabilities across the internet? Like, can we talk to each other?
I'm pretty sure there's voice chat.
Because that's a big thing, too, is talking to each other in real life to solve these puzzles.
Yeah, so, no, there'd be voice chat because you need real time.
Yeah, you have to talk to each other.
So, well, it's so funny because, what was it? When I first played A Way Out with my coworker, we were playing locally on the couch. Like, he came over and we played it. And we both sat in silence as if we were on headsets, just not talking to each other. And then there was one part where like, and it's funny because most of the game we were really good about just sort of like instantly figuring out who leads and who doesn't to sort of make sure we can get through stuff. All of a sudden there's like one part where you both have to agree on like which direction to like paddle a raft. And we kept going like opposite directions and just basically like kind of splitting rocks all the time. And all of a sudden we just died and we looked at each other, we're like, oh, we should go left. Why did we not talk about that? Like, we're right here. And then all of a sudden, we were very chatty for the rest of the game. But it was funny at the beginning. We were just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, also, fun little rando fact. So even before they made A Way Out, which was mandatory 2-player, they made a game called Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which got a remaster recently, which is also very worth playing. That game is actually a single-player game where you control two brothers, one with each thumbstick. And so it's actually a little bit of a trick just because, like, you know, you're controlling two things on screen at once.
It's like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Kinda. And I can't tell you how many times I played that game where I had, like, one player going and doing a thing, and I would look back and another player was just running against a wall the whole time. And I was like, oops. You know, so there's, like, a lot of times you figure out how to do it, but, and I want to say...
That was their first game?
Yeah, it's called Brothers. And that one's on Switch, and, like, that one you can actually just take a Joy-Con and hand to a friend, and you can each just do one player if you wanted.
Oh, so you could do actual couch co-op.
Yeah, if you wanted to on that one. Or you could share a controller, you know, by getting cozy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they've always very much done the sort of 2-player or 2-character thing. First was single player game, and now this is their third mandatory 2-player.
Well, and also it's not really a spoiler, but in It Takes Two and in Split Fiction, each character has a very distinct personality trait, and it's so funny because like one character is generally always a goofball and another person is more like pragmatic, and it splits us perfectly. So like, and we didn't even know before we started playing this one, we didn't know whose character was what, but Rob picked the more like stern, get the job done character, and I'm the like goofy, aloof character.
Well, also the sci-fi one, which I was excited, and like the brunette. I don't know. It's like I feel like I'm the darker of the two of us anyway when it comes to general
inside
vibe.
And outside.
Yeah, and so it's my like I saw the character of Mio and I was like, that feels like my character anyway.
Yeah, definitely check it out and let us know if you check it out because it's so fun. And yeah, I mean, we'll probably finish it. I would say definitely in the next 2 weeks, but maybe even by like next Sunday we'll be done with it. So
yeah, we're pacing
if you own it and desperately need a friend to play, let us know.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great time to move on to our final segment, which is What's Your Order? What's Your Order? Gonna get our trusty, dusty handbook for the recently deceased popcorn tin filled with just ideas now. It's just ideas. It used to be fast food. Now it's just ideas. And we're going to pick out something to talk about in our final segment of What's Your Order? Oh, I forgot to Julia Roberts too.
I did it super fast.
It's fine. Today's What's Your Order is...
Home recipe dupes.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, we have a good backstory of this.
Yeah. Well, the pandemic was good to us in the home recipe dupes world.
And you know what? So if you listen to the pod regularly, you know that I have terrible decision making when it comes to picking one thing. I always pick a top 3. But for this question, I can actually pick one thing. I don't need a list. And I think you do too. So you go first because you picked.
Yeah. Well, so like one of the things that I absolutely adore is Zuppa Toscana soup from Olive Garden.
Because when you're there,
your family.
Correct.
Or according to one of our Jackbox friends' answers on that, when you're here, you're here. But yeah, so I love that soup.
It's pretty much like a creamy potato soup with spicy sausage and kale.
Yeah, it's I don't think they officially use kale. I think they use a different type of like, you know, really intense or kind of crazy green, but like kale is exactly the same.
But it's basically closer to brothy than it is creamy. Like it's not chowder.
No,
it's not Alfredo.
Because yeah, I mean, basically the broth by the time you're done making it, it's basically chicken broth with sort of like some disintegrated russets in it, and then you add a little bit of cream at the end.
Yeah,
like it's not a ton of cream; it's just enough to kind of make it cloudy.
Yeah. It is a creamy soup that is not cream based.
Yeah,
cream is an afterthought.
But yeah, it's very much like sausage, potato, chicken broth, green stuff,
and it's a very it's a very rewarding recipe because you actually have to do a little bit of work, but then everything comes together really fast and it makes such a delicious soup because it's got a bacon starter and then you also have the spicy Italian sausage. And then we have to get our food processor out. We get to use our food processor. It's pretty much the only thing we use our food processor for.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
For cutting those potatoes. Well, it saves me the onion crying.
You do what, like 3 waxy and 3 starchy?
Yep.
Potatoes?
I do 3 russet, 3 waxy.
Like Yukon Gold. Right?
Yeah.
And then onions.
Mm-hmm.
And then
garlic.
Yeah, garlic. And then you pretty much cook that all together.
Chicken broth.
A box of chicken broth.
Or like even more. I like it brothy so I can make a lot of soup. But yes.
Chicken broth. And then that all cooks. And then kind of right before serving-ish, you add a bunch of chopped up kale.
Yep. And then the cream.
And it's hearty and it's good. Like, we call it good soup.
Well, and that's from A Marriage Story, Adam Driver. Good soup.
It's more from
meme.
Just the Adam Driver sound on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, because we've never seen
I've
that
never seen
movie.
the movie. But like, I'm gonna say that's where the meme is from, though.
Yeah.
Good soup.
But yeah, we do that. Like, if we say good soup, that is specifically the soup we mean.
Yeah.
And it's so yummy.
And that's one of those I'm like super proud of that. Like, I found a good recipe of it, and then I think I just made a few adjustments along the way, and it's one of those where like it's not exactly what I get at the restaurant, which I still love getting, but like I can't really complain at all.
I think our version's better.
Like, it's weird. Well, it's funny because like I want to say it scratches every single itch, and I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted every single time I make it. So I'm always happy with it.
Yeah.
And then like the other, like another restaurant dupe that I was really excited about, just a quick little honorable mention, because it was amazing, but unfortunately it was one of those where it was like so much work that it was kind of like, well,
and it's at the time, I mean, inflation has changed and we haven't been to that restaurant in years.
Yeah.
Because I know what you're going to say.
Oh, yeah. But,
and it's almost equally as expensive or maybe more expensive than just getting it from the restaurant.
Yeah. But Maggiano's famous rigatoni D is amazing. And on their website,
So good.
they literally give you the recipe.
They
However,
used to put it on the takeout bags.
Yeah. Although on the recipe, they do not specify which type of Marsala wine you need.
And it needs to be the sweet one.
Yes, not the dry one.
Don't get the dry one.
So we learned that the hard way. But I mean, it was fine. It was still delicious, but it was not exactly what it should have been. But like the amount of work and ingredients that goes into that thing, holy shit,
She's
just
pricey.
go out for dinner. It's
Time consuming and cash consuming.
It's way easier. Like there's a reason why they do it and they're the pros. Well, and similarly, sorry, last one, but also super excited. Lemonade, the sort of, cafeteria style place for sandwiches and hot plates and stuff. They have a really good Israeli couscous dish that
the truffle.
I tried making at home, and holy shit, that shit is meant to be made at scale. It is unbelievably expensive to make in small batches because it requires a quarter of a teaspoon of truffle oil,
which is literally like a dash, a drizzle.
It's literally just like bloop, it's like a drip, and that bottle I think was $16 at the time. And I used it once for like one batch of it because unfortunately
still have it.
Just like because it's a thing of like just to make one batch of the Israeli couscous, you end up with so many just weird amounts of leftover ingredients of everything else that like unless you plan on making big batches of this for weeks, you're never going to go through anything. It's kind of crazy. But it was delicious.
But that's a helpful tip for this segment too. If you like something from a restaurant, the recipe is online, sometimes on that restaurant's website, but you can Google an at-home dupe for almost any recipe. So if there's something that you want, even just like if you wanted to make McDonald's chicken nuggets at home, there's a recipe for it online, so you could find it. But yeah, so it sounds like Rob has a lot.
No, I had fun looking at restaurant dupes of just like. And also, like, whenever a restaurant goes out of business, I'm always like, did someone put on those recipes online? But yeah, like those are my 3. But even then, of those
Most
3,
used.
one is the only one I actually make. The zuppa toscana.
Good soup. Well, great. Mine is real easy, and we discovered it during the pandemic, but also I worked there in high school, so I already knew the technique and stuff.
This is what I figured it was going to be.
But mine is mall pretzels. I know how to make a big, delicious, giant mall pretzel, and I love them so much. We have not made them since LA. Like I've never made them in Seattle, but they're so easy to make.
It was fun,
and they're
too.
so delicious. And like if you live in a pretzel desert, like we do now, like I should be making them. I just never think to. But in high school, I worked at a pretzel time,
which is my favorite of the mall pretzel joints. I used to work 2 doors
I
down.
don't even
from
know
a
if there's pretzel
Time.
times left. I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
don't-
just
I think they're
Auntie
gone.
Anne's and
Wetzel.
Wetzel's. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's a W. But yeah, if you want to make homemade Wetzel's pretzels, the recipe is very easy because it's just a basic dough. But then like the technique of dipping it in baking soda water, letting it sit, baking it, so you get that like crispy, chewy, just a mall pretzel. Buy the special pretzel salt. It's available in the store. You can get it. It's a really easy recipe. And yeah, just a delicious yeast risen mall pretzel. And then you just soak it in butter and then cinnamon sugar if you're lucky.
Yeah. That's funny.
So good. What did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were actually going to say a different place that you worked, where you
Grub?
Yeah, where you because you do many of their dupes.
It's so funny. I don't consider those dupes because
I
like,
know it's a one-off.
I made
restaurant.
it at work.
I
and
know,
yeah,
but
those recipes. To
It
me.
is funny though. Like that is at least like especially even like their bacon is something that they are very famous for that you occasionally make here as like a special thing.
The top 3 things I make. So I used to work at a restaurant called Grub in Hollywood. It has been out of business for years.
Yeah,
but one of the owners was on Top Chef, and it was California comfort food. It was very fresh and delicious, hearty food, and the best tuna salad known to man. And so it's a lot of work to make, but whenever I make Grub tuna, oh, it's so good. That's like one of my favorite things to make at home. And then the other thing is, Grub was kind of one of the originators of candied bacon. We called it crack bacon, but it's brown sugar, a little bit of cayenne, a little bit of fennel seed, just delicious candied bacon. And I will make that. And we always used to make a crack bacon quesadilla with like Granny Smith apples in it. So I will make the quesadilla sometimes. Like I'll just be like, I need a Grub quesadilla right now.
Yeah. Or the hot chick salad.
Yeah. And then the other one, I make the buffalo chicken salad and the grilled cheese and tomato soup. Like I memorized all the recipes because I worked there every day for 5 years. And so, I have all the recipes memorized and the techniques and the times and just know how to make stuff. But again, I don't really consider those at-home dupes because it was a mom and pop restaurant and they're out of business.
I know, but still, I mean, it's like, I consider it dupe just because, it's a restaurant. Therefore, it's magic because it shows up on a plate and I eat it.
Yeah.
And because even like, as we were leaving LA, there was a Mexican restaurant near our house that like we both just adored. And they have a signature dish that literally has their name in it. And I remember actually asking them as we left, I was like, do you have any other locations? Or can I just buy this recipe from you so I can make it at home? Like, I'm not trying to make a restaurant. I'm not trying to sell it. I just literally am leaving town and I don't want to lose this dish.
And they said no.
Yeah, and they're like, no.
And now they're completely gone, right?
I believe so. They became a ghost kitchen, and then and now I believe their ghost went
Which
to the
is
other
funny
side.
because, so it's called Gardens of Taxco. It was like a really famous Mexican restaurant in LA for a very long time.
They had like a good place in WeHo.
The owner was very eccentric, and the restaurant, it was like an experience to go to. Because there were fountains and he collected like crazy antiques and stuff. But anyway, the physical location went out of business. I'm pretty sure the funniest part of that story, because he sold it all to someone to then sold the name and the recipes for them to open the ghost kitchen. So you were still able to get it on DoorDash. There's just no physical location.
And like as we were like leaving town, I think I literally did like a DoorDash order for pickup, so I had an excuse to go in and like meet the people there. And then I went and I was like, I've been here before to pick up like a pizza. It was like literally just a storefront where like food was coming out of it, and I was like, oh, this is okay. And then I saw like the one guy who was like the rep from them, and I mentioned it, and he was like, yeah, no.
Yeah. And now
luckily
we recently discovered a new Mexican restaurant in Seattle, new to us.
Yeah, which at least like, and they have a dish there that is like 80% what I
it's
want.
pretty close.
And it's delicious. It's great. It's not exactly what I want, but it's like the closest I found to that signature dish, and so I'm so excited to have something like that back in my life.
And they have delicious nachos, which is what I get.
Yeah.
So
and it's so close to home. Oh my God, they're so close.
so close.
It's amazing.
We all win,
right? Supporting local.
All right. Well, speaking of supporting local, I think we're done.
Okay then. Good segue.
Because we talked about a lot of stuff today. It was a good episode.
Well, and I'm out of soda. Like
so you've been out of soda.
I literally picked it up earlier, and I was like, oh yeah.
If you don't hydrate every 30 seconds, you wither away to nothing.
Yeah, with these chemicals.
You're a beverage goblin.
This is I'm just preserved with.
Rob
all
is
sorts
never
of
more than
chemicals.
5 feet away from a beverage.
Yeah,
at all times.
Yeah, or
it's gotten
2.
him in some serious trouble. But all right, well, great episode, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Everybody, all 2 of us. And listeners,
well, the
yes.
listeners are taking it in too.
Okay.
Give them credit.
Well, and also, I mean, like another thing of the week that was like, kind of magical. Lady Gaga Mayhem is out.
Oh yeah, that's your other homework assignment.
Duh.
Just stream Mayhem by Lady Gaga and like go back and watch her SNL from last night. It's so good. She's so good. She's the best at everything, and I just love her so much.
Go around.
Like
it's fun to watch her have fun, and also seriously, this is like probably her most fun album since Art Pop.
Yeah, it's really good. So check it out. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. We love you. Goodbye.